Black Sugar City by R.S.E. Gommer, published 2017. Vivian, a 16-year-old mute girl, only ever wanted one thing: to be a part of the Togetherness, the organization that runs the magical city of Sugar Edge. But she's out of time. Soon she will be wed to the horrible vampire Derek Frederick, and her life will be over. So, in a last attempt to save herself, she escapes Derek's clutches and joins the Togetherness trials to prove she is worthy. But during the trials, something gruesome happens. 5 dead mutes are found hanging from the ceiling. One word written on their bodies: speak. The matter is soon hushed by the Togetherness. The next day, there is an article in the newspaper that says the mutes were unconscious all along, not dead. But Vivian doesn't believe it one bit, and with the help of an older lady who is quite good at mind control, she tries to get to the bottom of the situation. Slowly but steadily, Vivian spirals into a dark adventure where more than one secret comes to the surface, and where romance and betrayal go hand in hand. The first phrase that came to mind after reading this story is beautifully chaotic. The story takes place in a strange dystopian world with humans, elves, vampires, dwarves, strange and exotic animals, all in a world where everyone lives off of sugar to survive. Hang with me, as I said, beautifully chaotic. The scenery throughout the book is both beautiful and dreary all at the same time. The author's use of words and descriptions put the reader in the exact mood she wants with simply describing the scenes. That, on top of the main character's melancholy state, is a recipe for perfection for me. We get put in a mix of a gothic and steampunk world. The characters and settings put off a heavy Victorian vibe with some wonderful twist. We have carriages pulled by giant panda bears and some pulled by sloth bears. Subtle hints at magic exist throughout the pages, but beginners to this type of fantasy can rest easy knowing that it is not hard rules or difficult to follow the magical concepts. Of course, the magic grows and grows throughout the story. The book does come in 3 parts, and I went ahead with the entire collection. If I hadn't, rest assured I would have jumped headfirst into the remaining 2 immediately after finishing the first. There's no way my brain would have allowed me to leave Vivian's story just hanging. The entire collection is roughly the span of a traditional novel, so don't let the idea of 3 parts turn you away if you are not a fan of a series. The entire collection only stands at 196 pages total, and it has short chapters for anyone that likes that format, making it easy to find stopping points for those of you that read in sprints rather than long marathon sittings. It is broken down into 3 parts: the city, the outside, and the barracks. In part 1, we find ourselves in the city of Sugar Edge following our main character, 16-year-old mute Vivian. She is hiding out in her attic, practicing magic, although she has no success. In just the first short chapter, the author sets up all of the emotions and empathy you'll ever need for Vivian. The descriptiveness of Vivian's emotions here are absolutely beautiful, and I found myself wanting to save her instantly. Vivian is promised in an arranged marriage to vampire Derek, and Vivian is not having it. Not at all. Besides, tonight is the Togetherness trials, and she cannot be distracted from that. The Togetherness is an exclusive group of people that basically oversee the city. In Vivian's own description, they are like gods. She idolizes them, and her dream is to join the group. The trials happen once a year, and to join you have to pass one of their trials. You are allowed 4 attempts, once per year, and this will be Vivian's 4th attempt. But when the trials are interrupted by the discovery of 5 dead mutes hanging in the Togetherness building, chaos ensues and drags Vivian straight into the middle of the plot. Throughout the rest of part 1, Vivian pairs up with a newfound ally, an elderly woman named Eleanoria, who has the strange ability to hear Vivian's thoughts, along with the ability to mentally control people. Think Jedi mind trick for the most part. They began investigating why the Togetherness is trying to cover up the death of the mutes and the mysterious black substance that was found with them. Part 2 finds them teaming up with Willis, an elf and leader of the Guard for the Togetherness. Their investigation leads them to travel to the sugar barracks, where the land's supply of sugar comes from, in an attempt to figure out what is happening and what is behind the death of the mutes. Willis uses his connections with the Togetherness to secure a train to take them to the barracks, one that is powered and pulled by a team of elephants. On the travel there, they are confronted and attacked by Derek and his friends. Derek is trying to get Vivian back and feels disgraced that she has ran off from him with no explanation. They are able to get away with the assistance of a new party to their group, a dwarf child named Filch, but the train is no longer functionable, and they have to continue on foot with no way of getting around the mysterious Lost City. The Lost City was once a beautiful, prosperous city that now lays deserted and rumored to inhabit strange and monstrous creatures. Part 3 finds our group at the sugar barracks. I can't get into too much detail here without spoiling the ending, but rest assured Part 3 keeps everything emotionally dark and beautiful as the two parts that led us here. The chaotic ride of this story climaxes in Part 3 wonderfully, and I cannot think of a single thing that I would change or do different here. Vivian is a wonderful character, exactly the type that I love. She is an outcast among outcasts and a broken soul. In this world, mutes are treated less than human. The citizens of Sugar Edge believe mutes have no emotion because they are unable to express them. But the point of view story from Vivian proves this to be entirely wrong. The sheer melancholy and demeanor that Vivian brings to the pages is darkly beautiful. If you were to read this book and be able to put yourself into this world, you'd be hard-pressed not to want to just give Vivian a hug right away. It took no time for me to fall in love with Vivian and genuinely care about everything that was unfolding around her and how it affected her. Eleanoria is a great character and perfect for the world that the author has created here. Eleanoria is a rebellious old soul and exactly what Vivian needs for the journey this book takes. She quickly becomes the only friend that Vivian has ever known. Willis. What a roller coaster of a character this was. What a jerk, but you want to like him. I can't go into much detail without spoiling anything, but his character was definitely needed for this story. Filch was an okay character. He was needed for the plot for the most part, but for me he didn't come across as strong of a character as the three that I've already mentioned. Still though, I found myself liking Filch and caring about what happened to him throughout the story. Derek. What a pompous douche. An aristocrat-type vampire, but in the vampire circle kinda low on the totem pole. It seems that his arranged marriage is the last thing that could save his standings in the vampire community, which seems to stand alone from the rest of the races of Sugar Edge, and he is not letting Vivian slip away so easily. All in all, Black Sugar City will always hold a special place in my heart, Vivian in particular. I can tell this is a book that I will revisit from time to time from here on out, and Vivian is a character I will never forget. For me, this is exactly the type of story I've been searching for through indie and small press publishers, and this book was worth every penny, if not more. R.S.E. Gommer is a Dutch author, and Black Sugar City is her first attempt at writing something in English. In my honest opinion, she has done a fantastic job. There were slight words that didn't fit conventional American English for me, but nothing that I could not get the meaning out of. Most notably, speeded rather than sped, a few things like that, but not near as many as you would think. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I hope this review sparks an interest in you. For anyone that enjoys gothic young adult fantasy, I don't feel you could go wrong with Black Sugar City. Until next time, find yourself a good book and enjoy a break from reality.